Dads worldwide. The first word in family management, family budgeting, insurance, bills, food, vacations, research and development, homework, emails, phone calls. Last week we tried to do an oil change and ended up with a new car. Security. Doors are locked, windows shut, house alarm is set. Fingerless gloves. Dads worldwide. Loyal listeners, possibly you.
Welcome to another episode of Dads Worldwide. I'm Brendan, and I guess we're a little backwards. We're doing year in review after the first of the year, but welcome, Jesse the Body, Dad Body,
Jesse
Tony
Dad Bod, yes.
and Yank. Thanks, guys. Thanks for showing up. Much appreciated.
It would have been nice if you would have forewarned us. Maybe I'm just the one that didn't know. When did you shave your freaking head, man? Dude,
It's so
that
shitty.
was you did that with no warning whatsoever. He pops his beanie off. I'm used to these gorgeous flowing locks, and he goes live. He's got the beanie on before he hits live. The intro plays. We come back, and he's just there in cue ball form. I'm like, whoa!
I chose to surprise you, and it worked. I'm glad it worked.
It did.
My son and I shaved our heads tonight, and we packaged the hair up, and it's off tomorrow to children with hair loss. So
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Some lucky kid is gonna get my gray hair. You lucky
That silver fox looking dude is going to be very appreciative.
Tony's so sad he's not a kid right now.
You know, next go around, send it this way. I could use it.
They're like, but he's 12.
Well, everybody thinks doing a deed like that is a good thing. Brendan just proved it's a bad thing sometimes.
You're right.
I feel like that makes me an asshole even
Yeah.
more. Well, I spent so much time getting that intro ready that I didn't do any of my other homework. So this is going to be pretty interesting.
Oh, nice.
Hey, folks, let's not get banned. So look at the keywords here. We got Fauci equals Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels. Vaccine equals sheep, dewormer. Biden, stroke victim. Natural immunity, awesome sauce. January 6th, mostly peaceful protest. Let's keep that in mind when we're talking about our subjects tonight. And
Absolutely, I like it.
I went back and forth. Should we start with the news or end with the news? I think we're going to end with it. So let's talk a little Dads Worldwide. Yank, I didn't get to have you on the show yet, so I feel I'm sorry, man. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in the new year.
But that's okay.
He's got more kids than all of us combined.
I know. I feel bad asking him because I know that he's got to wrangle like the 20 kids for the Hunger Games. You and John Svedesi should get together from the basic church and have like a Hunger Games. He's got like 20 kids too. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
And he gets more stuff than I know what to do with.
Oh man.
Yes.
All right, gents. So I'm gonna start off. So this year for Dads Worldwide, one of the most interesting persons I've ever had the pleasure of interviewing was her name's Lada Lisniak. She is the Mermicorn goddess. So I don't know if you caught the episode, but
That one I missed. You're gonna have to fill me in on this one.
I thought I was the most interesting person you talked to all year.
I said one of. I said
see,
one of.
See you guys. I'm out.
One
No.
of. One of. Let's come on. Listen to my words. Listen to my words.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Goebbels.
Easy stroke victim.
Interesting. So she refers to herself as a Mermicorn goddess. She went around for about 2 years with a unicorn. I don't know, not a mask, but like a unicorn horn on her head. And if anyone asked her about it, she made them dance with her for a minute. She spreads joy. She's a wonderful human being. it was the craziest interview, and she actually got Jim and I to stand up and dance. It was just, it was crazy. It was crazy. But one of the funniest women I've ever met. Like she just and it was nonstop. She is nonstop. Yeah. So I would encourage anyone who hasn't seen that one. I'm sorry, listen to that one. I didn't put it on YouTube, even though I probably should. Yeah, listen to that episode and check it out. I loved it. It was so much fun, and it was unsuspecting because she contacted me after I was like, I was looking at on a Facebook page, there's need a guest. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw it out there. This is actually like, I threw myself out there as a, ex-Border Patrol agent, because this was right in the time where kids were getting put back in cages again, that whole thing. So I said, I'm kind of
I prefer the term ball pit, Brendan.
Yeah, ball pit's probably more appropriate.
I feel like that's very appropriate. Thank you, Tony. I'm sorry for being insensitive.
Point of personal privilege.
Yeah. A stroke victim and Orange Man put kids in a ball pit, and so I'm kind of, I had worked down there, so I figured I would throw in my professional 2 cents, and then at the end of my offer, I said, hey, if you want to come on a dad's podcast, blah blah blah. Well, she said, I am a mermacorn goddess. I would love to be on your show, and I was like.
Can't pass that up. As soon as somebody says something like that, you're gonna be like, we're doing this.
Yes. I looked at my wife as I was going upstairs to record, and I said, this is gonna go one of two ways. This is either gonna be great, or I'm gonna be deleting this episode.
Yeah.
It's just that's it. Like I feel like there's gonna be no middle ground. This woman's either batshit or I'm loving it, and we loved it. I mean, it was unbelievable. So,
that's awesome,
Tony. Your episode was great because we got to. This is the first person I got to talk with ghosts, and ghost hunting with.
I know. I want to come back. If you ever get Jim's ass back on here, I kind of want to come back because I know he's into the ghost stuff too. So
yes, and maybe we get you in with Ronnie. Ronnie should be coming back. Ronnie Blank, from Expedition Bigfoot. He's also been on some UFO shows on the Travel Channel as well. So he, if we can get him back on, which he says he's going to come back on, but he's so busy filming with the Travel Channel. So I understand.
Can't imagine.
Dad's Worldwide is not a priority after that. I get it. I shed a tear, but I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I know. I keep telling him.
Dude's got to get his priorities straight, but
really?
Yeah,
I know.
Let him know I said so.
Come on, there's a 45-minute free podcast that you need to do. I think your TV show can wait, mister.
You will literally get no celebrity boost whatsoever.
Yeah. I'm literally writing your coattails, but I'm demanding this.
Yes, you better show up, you SOB.
You're like, the Amish-looking dude named Jesse the Dad Bod in Iowa said you have to come on right now.
Well, I don't know. If you turn your brightness up anymore, he might legit think you're a ghost. Good God, Casper.
I've dimmed everything except for my lights above, and if I do that, then everything will be bright again.
That's the stroke victim that never leaves the house.
Yeah.
I'm the orange man down below.
Yeah, you are the orange man. Holy
Maybe
cow.
I can find it.
Yeah, you
I
do.
have none of my lights set up, so.
Oh man, Tony's taking a break. Okay.
Real quick, I gotta bounce. So.
Okay. Oh,
Get
Justin,
my stuff done. So.
He's got his other show starts here at 8:30.
All right, well, throw a shout out there. Sorry, man.
Yeah, Yanked Up Podcast at Facebook. Basically, all it is. We're just gonna be gaming tonight, so something different. Gaming and talking crap. So
there you go.
What kind of game?
I really don't want to say, but I'll say it. Fortnite.
Ooh, I was gonna say I'd jump on as soon as we're done here, but
I really want to go to Call of Duty after that, but.
I'll jump in the chat.
My 9-year-old said he's friends with you. It's kind of weird.
You'd actually, and honestly, I think some of my friends' kids actually play with me half the time more than I do. So
yeah,
that literally is what
that'll put me
like
on a
a
list
10-year-old kicking your ass. It's like
Yeah,
literally.
when talk more crap than I do, so it works. So yeah. Find
All
us
right.
on
Well, stay tuned.
Facebook, so.
Cheers, bro.
Yanked Up Podcast will be on Daz Worldwide very soon.
Yes,
Thanks,
glad I
Justin.
got 10 minutes out of this.
I had technical difficulties. Later, bro.
Yeah, later.
All right, gents. So Tony, I number 3 listener of Dad's Worldwide, behind Heather Svedezi and my mom. So
I'll take it. That's strong competition.
I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, you're probably tied with the other guy there, Jesse.
All right, I'll take it.
I have a lot to catch up on, but I am your number 1 downloader. I have three accounts. I got 3 devices, and each one of them have their own account on Spotify, on YouTube, and on Apple Podcasts, and all of them are set up to automatically download.
Oh, I love it. You're the best.
I think I'm only 1 episode behind. Was that the recent one you did with the unicorn?
Oh no, that was in like May.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to May. See, I don't know why, but yours for some reason has completely went. I don't know. It flipped backwards.
The order's backwards.
I don't know why. I don't know. Yours is the only one.
Yours
that
is the only one. Only one,
Spotify.
especially on Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check my my website,
Because if I finish like the recent episode, it goes to like the very first episode. I'm like, no, I don't need to start that far, but hang on, wait. And then I got to scroll all the way back through. I'm like, okay, I did that one.
You know, my Spotify does that with some shows. I'll have to look at my website. Maybe it's something with
it's Joe Rogan. It's Joe Rogan. He did some stuff that the woke folks that are probably right about everything allegedly, and it's probably just his fault. So just blame him.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
I'll
Joe, it's all your fault.
I'll check the independent fact checkers.
Yep. Justin said Spotify is backwards. Yeah. There's a few shows that I listen to that are just funky. So, I guess, for the shows that you did listen to, I don't expect anyone to listen to my entire show. Like, I get it. Like, there's other stuff that is much more worthwhile, but I know you guys have listened. So, we talked about, I threw it out there, if there's a show you want to talk about or a moment, let's hit it up. So Tony, why don't you go first?
My favorite one, I wanted to bring this up. I'm looking at Spotify right now. It was I'm trying to find the exact date. It was that 5-minute episode that you did. You're like, nah, I promised an episode, but I'm not going to do it. And this can be really short. It was amazing. The transition was seamless. I mean, you were on your game.
Just that 5 minutes.
I know it was hard.
Nailed
hitting.
it.
It was
5 minutes.
I was blown away. I wanted to does Spotify have like awards? Because that one I was going to nominate.
It's funny that you say that because my brother was like, "Thanks for wasting my time, you dick."
Nice.
No, for real. I really I think it was the 6 months of hate mail episode. I listened to half of that one on the way to Phil's house to do a stream that night, and then I had to finish it the next day. The one with chicken you did on the Rittenhouse. I know we on our show we covered that thing in depth. And chicken bled that thing to death, but that one I really loved. I loved listening to that back. So I really liked that one. The what was it, the Thanksgiving one with the guy that was like all freaking out about beating somebody up or he was gonna go assault somebody. The way you handled that live, I'm like, he did about as good a job as you could expect in that situation.
I didn't know what to say to that guy. He's like, I'm gonna stab a bitch. And I'm like, whoa, dude, that's not cool. Like, you can't be doing that.
I really liked the games that made you guys cry because that's just I so much nostalgia coming back on that. I love that. And I'm listening to that and I'm like, oh God, I wish this were live right now. I could comment because I have so many things to say.
Yeah. That was a fun one. Trying to think back to all the games that I used to play because we used to, like, my family is like a game family and not just board games, but like everything, everything like game, so card games, board games, like we do it all. So yeah, trying to think of everything. I know I got some emails for that one. So.
As expected. If you ever touch anybody in nostalgia feels and you don't like uncork one of their core memories, they're going to be offended by it. So just keep that in mind next time you want to get retrospective.
I appreciate you. Hey, Marty, what's up, my brother from BP? What's going on, man?
Yuma.
Yeah. He was my classmate. What's up,
John?
John. Everyone knows John Svedesi from the Basement Surge, and his wife is our number 2 fan. Thank you. Thanks, John.
I'm coming for you, Heather. I'm going to take that number 1 spot.
Yeah. Good luck with that. All right, Chicken. What do you think? What do you got?
Of course, the 2 shows I did with you. So what was I like? Back in March, we talked about like politics and anarchy, and
yes,
that one was good.
I really did enjoy that show. Yeah.
Any of those, especially like my like political journey of changing thought processes. Brandon, I don't even know if me and you ever talked about it, but like 6, 7, 8. Oh God, how long? It's probably been closer. About 10 years ago, I was a hardcore liberal.
I can vouch for that.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like I started at least on the right side of things, not as like. No, I'm not saying the right side or the correct side. I'm just saying like I was on like I feel like that's much more of a easier transition. But if you look at it, anti-war, anti-drug war, like that makes it does make sense. That does make sense. But if
like any of those where like I get to kind of reflect on like my political journey, because it is so all over the place especially in the last 3 years. But just overall, it's been all over the place. Of course, loved the second one. Loved what you did with Tony. God, jeez, this guy down here.
I thought I was muted. Sorry.
This guy needs just whatever appreciation and pats on the back that the real champ of Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast can give him. Because
snap.
Yeah, that belt's not legit right now. You know it.
Hey, Tony, the Bears finally won last week. Be happy.
And convincingly. It's about damn time. Now we're going to fire our coach.
Yeah, that's when you do it, when you win.
Hey, it's a double win in my book.
There was one.
Yes, John. Yes.
I loved what you did with John both times, because you had 2 with John, because they just got their Legacy Comics one too was recently, right?
Yeah.
And that's what led me into following them on Legacy, and I've actually chatted with John a few times since then. So any of those that help build and grow relationships, like those are cool. I like to network around, especially with fellow creators, and John's art is cool as hell. Like I like watching him do those live drawings. Those are fun.
Yep.
Now, granted, I don't always watch him live. Sometimes I go back and watch him in 2X and just
if he's doing it live and I catch him, I get on there and I hassle him.
Yeah. My favorite though, the favorite one, because I was trying to text you a few times through this whole experience, was the awful Walmart customer service one.
Yeah. That was great.
Short of you sending me your order number so I could just get on there and completely wreck your order, I really thought about it, be like,
it's already been delivered. That's my whole.
I know. I wanted to completely ruin it because you were like, they were gonna refund me, but I already got it, and I'm like, oh, I'll make him charge you 3 times. I was like, no, I'll just stay out of it. You got
a real friend right there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Keep hitting that replay. Yeah, you know it.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Hey, shave my head. My lovely flowing locks are being sent to children with hair loss. So some lucky kids getting some salt and pepper hair. So
and another on that same token, another lucky kid is lucky enough not to receive the hair that I would not be able to grow for them. So they're totally missing a bad raw deal. So 35 years strong on me not ruining some kid's life.
Yes. Yeah.
Damn good job.
They appreciate that. I think they should send you a card or something, right?
Yeah, thank you for your service, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I assume that's why Chicken's growing his beard out. He's doing the same thing with that.
Hey, some people need pubic hair too.
Tell me about it. Wait, what?
What? Huh? Did Brandon lose his internet again?
No. Well, maybe there he is.
There he is.
Okay.
My God.
Did you have to go check for puke?
Yeah, your mic is switched.
I know. I'm trying to get it back again. Jeez.
The inner workings of streaming is awesome.
Oh, it's the best. I literally just got done going back and clipping down the Dog and Chicken Show episode 100, where Brandon, you were on for that, and everybody got to watch in glory as my internet failed miserably on our landmark 100th episode.
Yeah.
I literally freeze on the screen. I start getting choppy during the intro. Chicken asks me to tell us what we're doing tonight. Half of it's chopped up. I freeze up. You can't hear me. Then I'm like, screw it. I'm going to Phil's mill that's right down the road. I get up and then I freeze on the screen. And then I drop out completely because I'm driving out to his mill. I get to his mill. There's like 1,000 cars there. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going there. So I pulled up my phone and I'm streaming on the way to Phil's house now. That's 10 miles away. Then that gets choppy. Then I get to Phil's and
we're all waiting for a car crash live.
Yeah.
It was just worse and worse. And then his internet sucked, and then there was a storm, so I had to drive home. So I'm driving home in a storm with the stream going. It was great. Can't wait for everybody to see that in retrospect. Thanks for being a part of that, Brendan, because I obviously didn't have much to contribute that night.
Yeah. You contributed from multiple locations.
Not the way I wanted to.
Yeah,
you were like on the ground field reporting.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's important. That's super important.
This gravel road's been it's in pretty good shape. Kids, you look badass with the long hair.
I'm
with John there. I think you gotta do it again.
Good job. I do miss the hair. Yeah. It's so funny. I had it's for a good cause. Never mind. Yeah. Someone had to change our heart after 2 comments. I walk into my office one day and the secretary's like, "Oh my God, I hope you don't mind me saying you look so great with hair." I'm like, "Well, what did you think I looked like before?" He's like, no, never mind. It's like, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So hate mails. Honestly, hate mail is the funnest episode to record because you're just reading other people's words, and our hate mailer is hilarious.
It is. I love
it. He makes fun of Jim a lot, so it's great. I really enjoy it. And then, speaking of that, Tony, we got to do yours at some point.
I know. We've got to set this. I want to get like my green screen set up. I want to sit in front of a fireplace with a bottle of Cavassier or something.
One of my friends is, and friends with John and Heather as well. She does an erotica podcast.
Oh yes!
Oh nice!
Yes.
I'll email her. She would be perfect to read that, and I feel like we could do the voices of. You know what I mean? Yeah, he knows what I mean. Sorry, I feel like inside baseball. We shouldn't be teasing.
That's
okay, so hate mail.
At least send me a link to that podcast. I think I should check that out.
It's what is it called? In Bed with Nikki.
On it.
Oh no,
dude, I don't need to write that down. That's stuck in my head forever now.
She may have just changed. I don't remember, but it was In Bed with Nikki. If it's not still, and then no one likes it. Like, it's probably our least downloaded episodes, but the Serious Stupid Silly,
I didn't mind those. Like, I thought they were kind of fun.
I love those. Like, for me, those are really fun. But also, it's like the only time I used to only bring it in politics into that.
It's the only time you can sneak it in.
Yeah, it's the only time I could sneak it in there. So
you're anti-jab one for kids. That was pretty passionate. I didn't like the entertainment value is probably not there. It's more of like it was nice though.
I was pissed. I am
hear the passion coming from you.
And that's speaking of that, some people do need the sheep dewormer, right? Like some people do need it.
Yeah.
So probably get it. Like, it's your choice, but for children, it just fucking blows my mind.
Yeah.
Just look at the numbers. Like it
was the wording of the suggested like we're calling kids heroes. They're trying to warp kids' minds into thinking that they're superheroes. I'm like, this is literally what they tell us not to do. Or like, this is why they tell us TV is going to rot your brain because this TV show is going to give you the wrong idea. Oh, well,
but I want to rot the part of the brain that I think's appropriate to rot.
Well, but like the intro to like old cartoons with superheroes, like, oh, Jimmy stuck a fork in a light socket and became Electroman. Well, I'm gonna do that. That's the same propaganda they were pushing in that story you were talking about. It was insane.
Not to.
It was gross.
How about tobacco companies and the advertisements to children? And
oh my god, it is crazy to look back on retro cigarette tobacco ads and go, wow, we literally knew nothing, and we didn't care. We didn't care that we knew nothing. We just said, yeah, that's okay.
Oh,
it's
no.
Fun.
Yeah. It's not that people didn't care. It's people thought it was okay because doctors from the same health, well, maybe not the exact same experts were saying that it was totally safe and it was actually good for you. And you look at some of those old retro ads, be like, well, this brand is certified by this doctor as being the most healthy brand. Like, it's so creepy to go back and watch some of this shit. And like, I don't know if we're going to look back at this time in 10, 15 years from now and just be like, what were people thinking? Well, we won't think that because we already knew what we were thinking. Be a man, smoke a cigarette. I love it, John. But yeah, like, are we going to look back at sheep and horse dewormer 10, 15 years from now and go, fucking told you? Like, or
somebody's going to.
The propaganda gonna continue on, or no? Are we gonna wait the 70 years before FDA has to release anything?
Well, one of the sides is going to be right no matter what, because it's whichever side that wins is the one that's going to tell the story. So it really doesn't matter. Propaganda be damned.
It's super crazy. It is. I've been researching a lot on propaganda and stuff in history, and spent a lot of time on it. It's super scary. Like,
indeed.
Yeah, and once you learn how to identify it,
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, you're like, no, it can't be. Like, I must be getting something wrong, right?
I was afraid everybody's gonna call me Alex Jones now, and I'm like, that's propaganda.
Well, not to your face.
Well, Tony, you've called me Alex Jones for
that's okay. Yeah. That was through like Messenger.
That's because I buy into conspiracy theories a little too much sometimes.
Well, it's like Fox Mulder on the X-Files. I want to believe so badly. This sounds so good. It must be true.
Now we can call him the Amish Alex Jones.
Yeah. Dude, I should start a channel.
Dude, over the chalkboard.
Yeah, Twitter handle. No, you probably get kicked off. Yeah.
The Amish Alex Jones. I can pull it off. That means I can't ever shave my beard now.
You should really shave.
I was gonna shave it on the first. No, I can't shave the mustache and leave the beard. That's super weird.
Yeah, that's Amish.
I know. Like, it's here. You just can't see it because my hair is actually kind of blondish. So like, it sucks with the lighting. Like, if you see me in real life, I actually have a goatee. You just can't see it on the lighting in the camera. I've adjusted it like 6 times and you just can't tell. And then it just gets thicker down here, so you only see the bottom part. It's so bad.
It's a pencil mustache.
Trust me, I don't look Amish in real life. Trust me.
I swear.
And you know what? Amish people are cool.
They're fantastic.
Amish people have been living through all this stuff for 2 years and haven't done anything.
Yeah. So suck it, America.
They've been fine.
Suck it, America.
We talked about that on a prior show, Brandon.
Yeah.
How the Amish are kind of one of the most anarchist, like, badasses out there. Like,
that's true.
Pretty much like, fuck you, government. We're gonna do what we want.
Yeah, we do what we want. You don't pay my bills.
Horse and buggy and all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I really want a horse and buggy, but I would like it if.
Dude, they pick up barns and move them across fields.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Like, when the power goes out, they're gonna live. Like,
yeah, they'll be fine.
Can you imagine, like, to Heather's point, they're happy because they don't watch the news. Can you imagine, like, in some of these Amish communities, there's that one asshole conspiracy theorist that, like, has a window in the barn and he's got, like, chairs. Yeah, he's got some chairs set up on the outside of the barn. And every day at, like, 3:30, he goes and rings a bell and they all come shuffling in. They sit down on the benches and he gets behind his window. Oh, let me tell you a little something about the sheep dewormer we've been feeding our sheep.
like
Gorbals tells you need sheep dewormer because the stroke victims trying to run our country into the ground.
And
You have awesome sauce, okay?
There's lizard people. There's lizard people everywhere.
Well, that we confirmed that, I think.
Yeah, that just happened.
2020.
Yeah. That is really good. I feel like that's one of the videos that we could do.
Oh my God, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll have the Amish Alex Jones rounding up the kids. Rounding up the kids.
We gotta get Justin's kids involved. Need all the kids we can.
Oh my God.
Okay,
this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Justin's going on a camping trip with me this summer. I can make this work.
Ooh,
Okay.
There we go. All right, I think that's it for the show.
We didn't get into anything.
I know, but it's only been like 30 minutes. We talked about.
I told you I hate this 30-minute thing.
Well, we're gonna be talking for over an hour. Come on, let's be serious.
Did you want to hit on the mostly peaceful protest before we left?
Oh yeah. No. I think what I'm saying is we're gonna stop talking about Dad's Worldwide and we're gonna move on to the news. So
okay,
your review. Yeah. No, I didn't mean we're done. No.
Okay.
It's like lame, Brendan.
No,
Lame.
yeah, lame. You suck. You know
Chicken
what?
does everything in his
I'm gonna go
power
back
to
and
make
hang
sure
out with
you
my
don't
Amish
go a half
brethren.
hour.
Yeah, he's be like, you guys. I don't even know why I hang out with that loser. He only does
Yeah.
30-minute shows.
I'm gonna go hang back out with my Amish friends.
Your Amish buddies. Yeah,
They talk to me for
They know
hours on end.
they
Brendan,
know how to
30
podcast.
minutes. I'm out.
They know how to podcast. All right. So I guess
We love you, Amish.
yeah. Ah, man.
All the Amish people listening.
Yeah. I like to tell jokes about the Amish because they never hear them. So I didn't make up that joke. Someone, I forget who it was. What a comedian. What comedian. It was not
It's like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, or like what's the or
Amish
like,
make a wall out of it. I don't know.
yeah. Well, so like you tell an Amish joke on the internet, like they're
Does
never
it
gonna
matter?
hear it.
Jokes are usually
Oh,
better
yeah.
if you have the punchline.
Yeah, usually are.
Oh,
Usually are.
oh.
That's what you get at live shows, folks.
All right, so we'll go over the mostly peaceful protest, which the anniversary is tomorrow. Which
I am excited.
Which I also saw that they are beefing up security in the DC area to just in case people show up unarmed again.
Golly.
You're fucking
I
crazy.
feel like somebody mentioned this being a possibility just a couple weeks ago, maybe. Oh, it was this guy. I'm excited. I'm excited for Facebook tomorrow. That's mostly it.
I feel like it's going to be one of those just nothing happens.
It'll be like the Area 51.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's just like even like there'll be like 10 people that show up.
No, there's gonna be like 10 feds show up.
Yeah. With tiki torches.
Yep. They're gonna be like,
It'll be
why
like-
ain't anybody else here? Charge!
Yeah, there will be like a candlelight vigil for somebody like out on the steps somewhere, and there'll be like 15 people, and that'll be like it. And I'm claiming victory though. Now I'll be vindicated.
They'll be racists. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
Because Trump was gonna do he was gonna do
Who?
this Trump. Orange Man.
Orange Man? Oh, okay.
Orange Man. It's not on the list down below,
No, it's
but
Oh, okay.
Orange Man was supposed to do a thing from Mar-a-Lago tomorrow.
that.
He canceled it, and instead he's gonna like do something at his like Arizona rally, I guess, later on. But like it's one of those ones where like probably bad idea. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, you do it in DC.
Go whole hog with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean seriously,
you're
like
gonna fucking do it. Do it.
if you're gonna do it. Don't
fuck around.
Everyone claims that he's awesome and he don't care. You don't pay my bills. I don't care. Whatever. Like
Do what I want.
if he truly does, yeah, exactly. If he truly doesn't care, then you show up in DC with a bunch of people.
Oh, he's going to.
Do
He's
it.
going to go with them. He's going to go with them unannounced tomorrow in DC. This is it. This is what he wanted everybody to think. Like, he's just been laying low for the last year, but he's following through on the promise he made a year ago tomorrow, and they are marching those steps. You heard it here first.
Any day now,
Any
the
day,
transfer
it's
of
coming.
power.
Yeah, he's gonna get. Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, we're definitely getting shut down.
I got Phil QOE on the phone right now. And
QOE.
Yeah,
that's fucking great.
No, yeah, you're right. It's gonna be a nothing. It's gonna be nothing. I agree. There's probably not gonna be somebody somewhere is gonna do something stupid. But at DC, yeah, I don't know.
Probably not at a very high level or
probably not.
Or significance. They'll try to blow up some weird, like, there'll be some crazy people like protesting with weird signs and QAnon. Like the 10 people that still are following QAnon will like show up and hold up signs, and they'll be like, look at this huge just non-peaceful protest. These guys are so violent right now. Like, that'll be the coverage that you get, because
CNN will play the
fear porn's got to continue.
Day where the building blows up.
It'll be like 1 million people showed up to DC.
Yeah,
World War Z with the zombies flying over the wall.
Dude, there's like I don't know. I really don't think it's gonna. I don't think anything's gonna happen.
I hope not.
I really don't.
Nothing's gonna happen.
I'm excited for social media.
One, Delta and American Airlines can't keep their flights going anyway. So and then all of Virginia's like, aren't they still in a traffic jam? It's like, hour.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you're gonna get there, folks.
No.
Oh, so we're controlling the weather, and this was by design.
Oh, snap, Tony! I like where you're going with this.
The left, man, they are crazy with the weather control.
Right?
Damn.
Is that SETI? Is it SETI that's supposed to control the weather? I think that's the conspiracy theory. Is SETI controls the weather?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. All right, let's move on. January,
peaceful protest,
mostly peaceful process. Here, let's end of the Afghanistan war. That's kind of
success.
I mostly agree with that, actually. I actually do. I mostly agree with that. I think it could be handled differently, but
absolutely.
I'm very happy that it's done.
There was a lot of great outcomes. Now, this is like personal anecdotal outcomes that I'm excited about. Biden's approval rating completely tanked after this, and has never recovered. Yeah. So it was like, okay, I'm still upset that we still have Americans over there. Yeah, that can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they handled it completely awful.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it did expose the normie Biden voter, because like you got your like hardcore like anti-orange man. They're going to be what they're going to be, and they're just going to worship everything the stroke victim does. But when the stroke victim fucks up so bad that even the normie that voted for him goes, oh my God, how could you fuck that up so bad?
Separated the herd pretty quickly. You could tell who was voting
and it hasn't
for him
recovered
because of him and who was voting for him because of not him.
It hasn't recovered since then. So, like, as awful as that whole thing was, I think ultimately, like, if we want to go with the left's perspective on collectivism and collective mindsets, I think collectively it was a good thing, because it put everybody on the right track of like, hey, this stroke victim doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Not at all.
Was that as much of a push, and as hard as I can go with it?
I think it was our episode 101 was, I think, with the one we did on it. It was a pre-record. I listened to that one the other day too, and I trimmed out some of that, so that'll be on our best of. But we covered it pretty in depth of what had just happened. We talked about what had just happened, and we
censored a lot too, because there was people falling from planes, all kinds of crazy stuff. It was awful.
It was so strange to watch unfold, because
HARP. Yes, thanks, John.
You couldn't have predicted it was going to unfold the way that it did, and because I said this in 2020 when the Orange Man first said, we're going to do this, we're going to get him out. and I'm like, it's too little too late now, because you're heading right into election, and it doesn't even sound like anything but an empty promise, because you're trying to win re-election at this point. Then the stroke victim wins, and he adds 6 months to the window, and I'm like, this is just feels like we're pushing this back so we don't have to follow through with it. Then he follows through with it and did nothing with the 6 months that he added onto the window. And it felt so sudden, even with the extended deadline. And we still managed to leave people there, have people trying to cling to the wheel of an airplane, and left all the equipment. I'm just like, it was in the immediate retaliation to it. It was just such a failure. But the success in my mind, we haven't reinvaded technically. So that's a success. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Well,
it looks like we might be going into Ukraine if we're lucky. That's just so stupid.
That's a whole nother episode.
Collusion.
Oh God, that's like, oh my God, yeah. I hate the government. Fucking hate it. So,
I mean, we love you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Top shelf job.
Overlords.
Yeah.
We love you.
Govern me harder, Daddy. So
Harder.
so I can't. So he changed, like you said, he changed the date.
Yeah.
Date, right? Like he changed that.
Yeah, pushed it like 6 months back.
And that was completely political, right? Because he changed it to September 11th. And then he didn't even meet that date. All of a sudden, he just started pulling people out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely that was a political move.
Which I didn't understand still at this time, because they pushed it back to the fighting season.
I don't. It was all political. It was all political. They wanted to end on September 11th, even though there's no one in Afghanistan that had anything to do with September 11th. Al Qaeda attacked us, not the Taliban. And if you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you. Like that blows my mind.
Let's say the stroke victim knew no matter what day it was going to be terrible. So did he want to have a terrible withdrawal 2-3 months into his presidency, or 6-7 months into his presidency?
I think it could have been less terrible 2-3 months in, because it wouldn't have been the height of the fighting season.
Right. It would have been beginning of the fighting season. Nobody's prepared. Like they're not chasing things down. That was my argument for like why you should have kept the date and just withdrawed when you did, because like you didn't have time to plan for it.
He came in January. There was already a plan in place, allegedly, right, with the Orange Man's administration, right? So why not just follow that plan and get the hell out, right? Like, get all your stuff out, get all your people out. Like, you have 3 months to do that. If it's not long enough, okay, extend a month or so, and do it according to the agreement.
If he was going to extend a month or so, maybe like that time to extend that month or so was to get like our equipment out too. Like,
well, yes, that's what I'm saying. But like, extend it a month. You don't have to extend it all the way to September. It went from May to September. So that's a lot of time for U.S. soldiers and allies to get killed.
Yeah,
or hurt or killed, and to me, that's not okay.
It's like telling somebody that's in a very dangerous situation in a house, like a bad family situation, and they could get physically abused or harmed, and you're like, I know it's bad, but I need you to just live there for 6 more months, and I'll come save you.
I'll definitely get you out by then. But you said May. Listen,
you just got to deal with this a little bit longer.
May's just not good.
I know what's happening. It's not good, and it's going to get a lot worse.
Is on fire, right? And the fire department shows up, and you're like,
it's
okay,
not all
thank God,
burned to the ground.
I'm going to make it out. They're going to come in. They're going to get me out of this burning building. And they come up to the door, and they're like, oh, but hang on, just sit tight for a second. Hang on. Dispatch just said our chief just got replaced. So hang on a minute. We got to
elect a new one.
He's got to get here first.
Yeah.
So wait 5 minutes. New chief shows up, and the new chief's like, it's only a little on fire. Can we wait like a little bit and see which side falls down first? Because that'll give us a way better entry point. So just sit tight. We'll get you there.
Here's what it was.
This house had burned before.
Yeah.
And the anniversary of the burning.
And you can't burn ashes you know,
Yeah.
you can't burn things twice.
So it
No, it's like if oh god, now I gotta remember Goebbels, Goebbels.
Yeah.
So like Goebbels is like, well, I want to take credit for being like getting things done faster than everybody with sheep and horse dewormer.
Yeah.
So like take your time on stopping this war because I want to move faster than war withdrawal.
and he didn't.
Hashtag innuendo.
Yeah. I oh god, it was just handled so horribly. I mean, all the way around. The extension, and then the not hitting the extension, and then not preparing. Like, what were they doing for the 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, right? Like, when did they extend it? Did they extend it in January? Did they extend it in February? Okay, so if they extended it 6 months and then they had another month or two, that means they had like 7 or 8 months to figure it out, and they still couldn't do it. So,
and in that entire time, more people lost limbs, lost their lives.
Yeah,
lives were ruined. Locals' lives were ruined. It's just like the total denial and complete the complete just lack of understanding of the human lives that are lost. Like these people that are running these decisions or making these decisions claim to be such great humanitarians and want the best for all of humanity and the best things for everybody, but they will not answer a single question when it comes to the deaths of the people that resulted from these decisions. They will not, never will. They'll never be held accountable to them. That's probably the most disgusting part about all of it. Like whether you like the Afghanistan withdrawal or not, you have to recognize people died unnecessarily between that time frame. That if we pulled out when we originally were, they wouldn't have died.
Yep.
That was a decision made by a stroke victim. And
20 years and
if you still defend that, you like everybody always wants to do this. Oh, you got blood on your hands for this decision. Hey, he's got blood on his hands too. Then, like, if you want to like do that, then everybody's got blood on their hands because these are decisions that were supported.
Absolutely. And then they dropped a bomb as they were leaving and killed a bunch of innocent civilians.
Yes.
So good job on that one, guys. Really bang up job. And then nothing happened.
High five.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No. Like nothing. What blows my mind is they were like, yeah, they didn't want to admit it at first, right? Like they killed a bunch of kids. They didn't want to admit it at first, and then they admit it. Like, oh, it was a mistake.
Oh, they tried to frame them.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're like
passing the buck around. Like, no, this guy, no, that guy.
Dude was bringing bottles of water or buckets of water and food in, and they killed a whole bunch of kids. And then they just got all swept under the rug.
Yep. Nothing happens. Yeah, yay, government. Ding. I feel like we had a ding. Fuckers. All right. Let's see. So I forgot about this, and then someone mentioned it on something I was listening to. So parents started showing up to school board meetings.
Yeah.
This was
so not for just for CRT, right? Critical race theory, and for mandates, and they got labeled as terrorists.
Well, they are, duh, obviously.
Domestic terrorists.
Pieces of crap.
Jesse, the dad bod, wants in on this first.
This has been going on for a long time, and people, like when these came out, like we may have only focused on certain stories on the Dog and Chicken Show. I'm going to be honest on that. Like I didn't pull up every story of people showing it, but if you just look at crazy parent school board on YouTube, you get like the heavens open and you get the craziest people in the world, and it's fantastic. Now, what you do with that is you can extrapolate. You get these weird ones. Like I watched one yesterday. I was actually looking up, I'm supposed to like run a political caucus here in a few days, and I was like, I was like, oh shit, I don't remember. Is it Robert's rules of order or whatever it is? I can't remember. So I was like, oh, I need to brush myself up on like how to actually run one of these damn things. And while I'm doing that, I like stumble across these videos of like these crazy people that show up to these meetings, whether it be city board, school board, like, and they follow these rules. So, but like you got these people like calling out the most fringe issues that make no sense and nobody cares about. Like zero people except like this one lady was like, we're going to have Nelly playing at the state fairgrounds, and he says terrible things, and he's had charges against him from women, and I don't understand how the county's going to help pay for, the taxpayers are going to pay for this celebrity to come in who sexually assaults women, and how should he be here, and what are you doing to stop it? And they're like, okay, well, we put rules in place, no profanity, because this is a family event. He agreed to it.
Yeah.
Here's all the things we've done that address your argument. And she's like, well, I'm so happy to hear that you are protecting our community from such an evil person. Be like, well, you described why he was evil, and they stopped everything that you thought was evil. And she was still mad. But like, so these school board meetings, here was the interesting part though.
Yeah.
Is you would see some of these CRT ones. You would see like, now CRT, honestly, I think has been way overblown on both sides. It's been like, this is like fear porn on both sides. Like Glenn Beck wants you to think that CRT is the most damaging thing to youngsters in this country. Yeah.
Well, for we don't want people to not be afraid of it, so we got to make sure that they're still afraid of it.
Right. And so like you have to define CRT and what it means in your community. What it means in my community is not the same in yours. It's just not. Yeah. Like in my community, CRT is teaching about Harriet Tubman and like some of this basic shit that we all already know and learned when we were kids. Like it's nothing new. And it's not praxis. It's not any of these weird things. But there are places in this country where they are trying to indoctrinate people and make them like apologize, make white children apologize. This is a real thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And so when you have like, this is such like nobody can see through the nuance of this conversation, is that there are places in this country that are making kids at like 7 years old apologize for their whiteness. They're fucking that's 7. Oh. They don't even know what the hell they're apologizing for. They just go home and go, Mom, I was told to apologize. I was white today. If you're a mom and you just heard that from your 7th grade or 7-year-old or whatever,
come unglued.
You're gonna, you're gonna go to these meetings and you're gonna lose your shit.
And you're gonna look like a crazy person.
Listen,
it's wonderful.
I'm 42 and I don't think I should have to apologize to anybody. I didn't enslave anyone. No. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so
unless I personally wronged you. Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so
as adults though, I don't care about the adult conversation at all.
Yeah.
It's the children part of it. That's all that matters with CRT.
Drag them into it. But okay, so CRT, I've heard that too, that it's just history. It's just history. Like that's all they're teaching. But then it's
a redefinition of words.
I did listen to a podcast where they read one, and it wasn't a curriculum, but it was a paper, and it was basically white people should apologize for being racist and having privilege. And so like that's where I'm like, okay, well, which one is which, right? Like if it's just history of black people in America, then of course there's no problem with it. Like teach it year round and have at it. But if you're just gonna force white people to feel guilty about who they are, and then I don't even know what to say to that. Like, that shouldn't be forced on people.
That fuels the stigma of reverse racism, and that's not something we should be doing either.
No, absolutely. But that doesn't exist, Tony. So
there's The problem with it is
that's the problem. Like they don't. There's no differentiation on it. You know. So okay. So one person just says it's history, and then but then you look at some paper that this guy wrote, or and it's like, oh, that's what they want to teach. Well, if that's what they want to teach, and like, oh my god, and then that's where the fear porn comes in, right? Like one person's like, no, it's really not that bad, and the other person says, yeah, it really is that bad. Like it's that binary thinking, like it's one or the other, right? Like it's that,
you nailed it right there.
Yeah,
binary.
And people don't understand that culture is different spread across this nation. Like it is not the same here as it is there, and we're talking
Some
about
people don't believe in culture.
I know it's crazy to me, but the thing about the kids being forced to apologize, that's insanity to me, because here's the thing. Meanwhile, that 7-year-old, if you take the other 7-year-old that's a different color and you put them in a playground setting, guess what? They're not seeing color unless you tell them to see the color. They're just saying, oh, look, it's a new friend I can play with.
That's what this generation. I think we're going to have one of the most racist.
That's what makes me so worried. Is
most racist futures we've had in a long time because of what's happened in the last 5 years.
We're so concerned about preventing racism that we're going to create a whole new breed of racism. And if we could just learn to get past, I know I'm not telling people to take it lightly. I understand people are deep-seated in their culture or deep-seated in their history, and that's fine. Be proud of it, but don't make it worse by trying to make a situation more important than it has to be for the future. Like sometimes it's okay to forget about the bad stuff if we remember what caused it and remember what came out of it and we remember what could come from it if we make the right steps and we learn to accept each other.
Of course, history should be known. Absolutely.
Yes,
like there's no doubt in my mind. But you cannot blame someone of today for something that happened even 20 years ago, right? Like how do you just like grab, like I had nothing to,
I don't know. I still blame Bush for Afghanistan, but
I don't think that's an absolute statement.
Yeah.
Well, no. So like blaming somebody for something they did 20 years ago. No.
I'm saying
just events.
No. Like a white person beats up a black person 20 years ago, but that's my fault. That guy's a racist. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
That's illogical.
If I did something 20 years ago that was racist, then you want to judge me as a racist, then that's one thing. But something that someone else did 100 years ago, I definitely shouldn't be blamed for.
No.
I mean, right? Like, I mean, can we? Like
the problem with the whole thing is where politics jumps into a social issue and it like takes hold of it, and that's what we're seeing right now is and politics takes the fringes. Because why isn't the Dog and Chicken Show the most popular show on YouTube? It should be, right? Because we dive into like the biggest, deepest subjects, and we have a good time, and most people can relate to what we say. But you know why it's not the biggest show? Is because we do not say the craziest, cringiest, awful things like Joy Reid does or like a Tucker Carlson does. We don't go to the far extremes either way.
Yeah.
We talk about what real people think and what real people feel. And so nobody wants to see that. People want to watch fear porn. So it's our own problem that we've created. That's all we pay attention to is we want to go, oh my God, Joey Reid thinks white people are racist and everything they do. And meanwhile, while she's saying what she's saying, she's actually being racist. And then Tucker Carlson saying nobody's racist. Racism doesn't exist. This isn't a thing. And you're like, oh, bullshit, dude. Get on Facebook. Look at your uncle. Like,
or look at Twitter and see the amount of people who say
it's just
horrible things that people say.
There's an escape, but we all want this escape from reality, and that's why some people watch Joy Reid, why some people watch a Tucker Carlson, because they want an escape from reality. Because probably in most of our lives, and most people we know's lives, they don't give a shit about any of it, and when they do watch it, they happen to just like pop it on and go, oh shit, white people are racist. Like that's usually what it is. Or they flip on the other one and be like, oh shit, Joy Reid's kind of getting racist. And there's no nuance. And a lot of people that I meet, and this happens every single day. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is like recently doing this like caucus thing and trying to actually make a positive change in politics locally is most people have like a predetermined position on everything. And a lot of them think they're a Democrat or they think they're a Republican, and they're not. They've never looked at the actual like fundamental axioms of their decision making and understand why they feel the way they do when things come up. So yeah, I want to work more on having those conversations, exposing like my neighbor across the street. Like she literally told me, I thought this was a made up thing that I saw on the internet, but I have a big, huge American flag waving on my front porch since I moved here. And she came over in the garage. She comes and hangs out with me and my wife, and she'll, smoke some cigarettes with us and bullshit. And she gets into politics, and I can tell she leans very left, which is fine. But most of the time, she's pretty grounded. She's pretty grounded. Like, she doesn't like the government because she thinks they overreach. She doesn't like paying taxes on shit because she thinks, I'm like, okay, I don't understand why you're so lefty. Like, I'm trying to figure her out. And then she goes, and that American flag you have waving, like, it scares me when I see it.
Oh,
and I'm like,
God,
why? And she could not tell me why. She just was told on the news that that's scary. Patriotism is scary.
Yeah, and if you had a blue line flag, that would be.
Oh God, yeah.
She is 37 years old, and she could not explain to me why the American flag was scary.
That is terrifying to understand just how successful the media was at grooming the common person into thinking that the United States flag is a symbol of hate. And that is severely disappointing.
Orange man bad.
Orange man bad.
That's really the last 5 years. That's what it was. Orange man bad. Couldn't look past it.
You people clutching your Bibles and your guns.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. CRT and parents labeled as terrorists. I think it's absurd.
Oh yeah, that's completely absurd.
But like the FBI was going at. Does anyone? I feel like the FBI is completely illegitimate at this point. They just
it's so strange to think about, because when you're young, you're like, oh my God, the FBI, they're like such badasses, and now you're seeing what they're doing. They're like, so they're arresting parents at school board meetings.
Yeah. That's why I brought up that whole fringe thing, because that's what this is. It was just it was like to put people in the fringes to make it easier to press it.
They were saying about libertarians as well. So
it's not prosecuting people; it's persecuting people.
Absolutely, but it's almost to the level of fear porn where they were telling people to be afraid of them, right? Like, I mean, they're like, oh yeah, these parents are terrorists, domestic terrorists.
Yeah, this has been building. Like, this is a weird. Okay, Alex Jones time. Amish Alex Jones time. This has been a psyop for fucking several years.
Like, you should have a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to look around see if I have one.
So okay, well, yes, no, I agree with you. I mean, like, they just like they move on to vilify certain segments of the population, and they're
Can
just.
I put on a MAGA hat?
Yeah, whatever.
We'll be taken
That'll
down like that.
piss people off.
Yeah, they'll definitely get it taken down. They're just really good at vilifying segments of the population that they think they can get away with it, right? Like, they think, like, John Brennan on CNN said that libertarians were domestic terrorists.
Yep.
Like, what? Like, that doesn't even make sense. They espouse freedom.
The CIA
like,
war.
They espouse personal responsibility. They espouse, like, he is one of the biggest jackasses out there, and espousing on CNN, and I don't even know if he's on there anymore, because he completely got everything wrong. He was telling people that Trump's family was going to be in cuffs at the end of this, and like nothing happened. It was ridiculous. So he couldn't have been more wrong. Let's
somebody saying bombastic things to get attention. That's all of this is,
just to get attention. I mean, like, oh God, yeah. Just retire and go away. All right. So we talked about Rittenhouse Chicken, and I did, and then we did on Big Buckin as well. You guys covered it as well. I don't know what we can. I thought the episode was great, so go listen to that. I thought it was great that he was found not guilty. I mean, and I've never really cared about a case as much as I've cared about that one just because there was so much proof that he was innocent. I mean, like it was so ridiculous. The video it was out so quickly. The idea that he was even brought into court blew my mind. And why do people even trust the justice system at this point? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It was the initial assumption of the situation. Just the assumptions that people were allowed to make right out of the get-go that allowed this thing to go as far as it did. Because, like you were saying, Brennan, like it still amazes me too that people still don't understand what color of skin the victims actually were, the people that died. People don't care. They just care about what they've been told that they can get outraged by. So it was the initial outrage of why this thing was allowed to snowball into the disaster, into a trial, into the media coverage that it was. Because had it not been blown out of proportion from the get-go, and how could it not with that many cameras on it, and we saw it all unfold in real time, it would have faded into the background. But that was a perfect opportunity for the media to take the reins and just dictate how somebody's actual life was going to play out, and they almost did it. Luckily, a fair trial was actually seen on a national TV. It's amazing that the way that thing unfolded, that we were actually allowed to watch corruption in a courtroom by sleazeball lawyers and an actual honest and fair judge and a real jury trial not be corrupted, even though the media tried to corrupt it in real time. It was amazing to see it unfold fairly the way that it did and it not fall into complete and utter chaos. And I'm glad that it didn't.
Yep.
I thought it was a great moment for anybody who did follow it. I wish more people did. It was a great moment to see how the American justice system actually works for most people. You get to see it in live, real time, how the prosecution, having zero case, will defame, defraud, and totally try to ruin your reputation, your family, everything they can at the behest to ruin your life for defending yourself. Like it was so fascinating and disgusting at the same time. And then to watch like the people that didn't watch it, who pretended they knew what was going on. To like fight against the verdict. And you're like, you obviously didn't watch this. So we saw so many people come out right afterwards and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this outcome. Like, did you watch it? Obviously they didn't. They had no idea what the hell was going on. And again, it was just rage porn, clickbait bullshit that the internet's turned into. And like, I love it when these happen though, because it helps you separate the good actors from the bad actors. And you can just be like, oh, so like if you didn't pay attention to this and then you like said this kid should have went to jail for the rest of his life, one, you didn't watch it, and you have a big following, and then you spread terrible, horrible information. So you were no longer a good person in my eyes. Like I was able to eject a lot of people. Like we talked about this before, to where you are the average sum of those that you speak to and hang out with. I rejected some people. I kicked a few people out of my life because they were actually bringing my average score down. And yeah, like rightfully so. You got to move on sometimes.
I have a few of those for our next topic, but as far as Rittenhouse goes, I kind of wish he had waited. We talked about this as well. I wish he had waited to go.
Like, kid, make your money, but take it slow.
Yeah. But I'm glad he. The prosecutor just pissed me off so bad. Like it
didn't like Binger?
Disgusting.
Why wouldn't you like Brandon? I thought of all people, you would think Binger is like.
He is the epitome of someone that should be in jail. For Malcolm. He should be in jail. He was outright. He like knew what he was doing. He purposely tried to either get a mistrial, or he was purposely trying to sabotage. I mean, he was saying outright false stuff, false things. Like
I hope most people that did watch it look at Binger and go, that is most prosecutors in this country. Like 99% of prosecutors in this country are just like Binger.
Yeah, it was gross. He was gross. So
it's horrible to watch. Horrible to watch it confirmed that the lawyers that you see in those movies that are just complete dicks and will use corruption to their advantage.
All like that.
It was awful to see it actually unfolding. And luckily it didn't play out.
Like I got into some legal trouble when I was a younger boy. Granted, most of it was like in juvenile court, so like it's not a big deal in my adult life. But like I dealt with prosecutors like that, and they have zero regard for your future.
Yeah.
They do not give a shit. It's about how much money and punishment they can bring in, like, and how many wins they can get. Like, I don't know what the motivation is on every single case, but it's so fucking weird that they're like at like Kyle Rittenhouse is 17. Some of my court cases were when I was 16, 17. They did not give two shits about my future. They did not want me to become an upstanding citizen. They wanted me to be punished at the harshest levels, like to where they like tried to move shit into adult court for no reason. I hurt zero people. I harmed nobody. And minorly infracted a law by 0.002% of alcohol consumption. Like, fucking crazy. I had a half a sip more than I should have.
I can tell you I've worked with lawyers a lot. And on the law enforcement side of things, I've written affidavits. I've put people in jail, and I did not take that lightly.
Yeah.
And the idea that someone be as slimy as that guy was, like, that really disturbed me a lot. a lot. I mean, that's like having a bad cop on the force that's on the take. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly the same thing. And
and this is where I sympathize with the left on a lot of their issues with justice reform. And I thought Kyle Rittenhouse should be the fucking poster child for it. You got to witness why
that should be a left-right issue. You know, if the
should be an everybody issue.
Exactly.
Like, this is bullshit. What happened to this kid? It happens to fucking black and brown kids every day.
But what surprises me the most, and why I say that, like, why did this even go to court, is because most prosecutors, most lawyers, they will not take a case if they do not think they can win.
Yep.
They will not. I am telling you flat out. They'll
try to do a agreement on the side and just settle.
Well, I mean, agreements, that happens, but they won't. A lot of times that happens because the prosecution case is actually pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll do like, hey, let's bring this down to like a misdemeanor. You pay $1,000 fine. You do 6 months probation. We all walk away and everybody's happy. Your life's not ruined. I get my money. I get my win.
Yeah.
So, and I don't have to do half the shit that I was paid to do.
Yeah. I don't have to prove you did all this.
Yeah.
But I've had rock solid cases, and the prosecutor told me, like, no. I'm like, what? He's like, no. And I'm like, he wouldn't tell me why, but because he didn't think he could win. That's really what it comes down to. They care about their win record, and that's really all it comes down to. Which blows my mind is why this guy brought it to court. Because I think it was because they really did actually think that they had a chance to win it, and I can't blame him for thinking that, because given that they went after him for the charges that they did and not the ones that people glorified into existence. They went after the legitimate ones that they could actually have a hope at. And given that the media was completely behind the prosecution, given that the general public was fooled into believing things that just were flat out not true, given that it was a jury trial and this thing was unavoidable, so they could have banked on the fact that half the jury, if not more, was going to be coming into this with blown out of proportion assumptions. Yeah, I guarantee the prosecution actually believed that they could convince a jury.
You might be right.
Convicting.
Man, I don't.
And it's sick.
I just watched the video. I'm like, it's public knowledge. Like, the
video, it is, and that's what's so gross about it.
I'm like, how do you think you're gonna like convince somebody if they watch this video? Like, they can like see like those people saying really nasty things. Like,
look what we've convinced people over the last couple of years of, and it's easy to think that we could convince a jury to prosecute and convict this kid.
All right. I think that's enough of that.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Oh man, I don't even know where do we start with this. The last
one?
2 years, the COVID. I should have put a keyword for that, right? Man, that was a
the Rona.
Yeah, the Rona.
I'll like throw a couple things out there because I know I'll start some discussion with it. As I think a lot of people learned more about themselves during all of Corona, whether it was the last year or the whole time, whether you're a collectivist or an individualist. I think everybody knows the difference between those at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
most do.
Yeah. They are collectivists, but they don't know it. You know?
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people really were forced, like, in 30 plus years of my life, I've never been put into a situation to where I have to make tough, like really, really tough moral decisions. Like, okay, most decisions I've made was like, what do I do to keep my kid alive? What job do I take to make sure I can provide for my family?
Yeah.
Those are pretty easy questions that you run into. But then, like, whether it become, do I take sheep dewormer? Like, how do I handle that situation? How do you handle friends and family that do not legit completely oppose everything you think and say as an individualist, and they act like a collectivist, even though they say they're libertarian, which blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
But like, how do you reconcile that? Not like completely run off family and run off those folks. Like, this was such a fascinating last 2 years because of all that. It was like, how much do they allow fear into their life? And then how much does that persuade their decision making in ability? And like Tony and Phil and I, we've all three argued with each other over COVID stuff. Like, and we've been friends for, God, since we're 15, 16, like a long goddamn time.
Afghanistan war.
Yeah. Since like 2000. Yeah. Since 9/11, before 9/11, we've been friends. So like, but it's like,
it sounds like his family.
Yeah. But it was like, even we all kind of went like, wait a minute, is that the right thing to do? I don't know if that's I think we've reconciled them because we're friends, but there's a lot of people that didn't make it through that.
That's true.
Yeah, this is one of those subjects that drives families apart. And that's I think a lot of that is also the fear porn, right? Like the constant. I told my mom to stop watching the news at one point. I was just like, knock it off. I'm like, it's not helping you. You need to like just back off that a little bit, because it was driving anxiety at one point. Like, she was like, I don't.
That's what it was.
Yeah, like, one of my kids went to school. One of the kids that my son went to school with caught COVID, and he looked at his mom and says, I don't want to die. So he thought he was going to die like that. So he watched enough of that fear porn that he thought that he was going to die if he caught COVID.
Dude, at the beginning of the whole thing, I didn't know. Like, my kid has asthma and all kinds of things that I thought maybe he could. Like,
this was not that long ago.
I
can understand, like, within a month, like, no one knew anything. No one knew. It was.
Do you think it's just people just now starting to pay attention? Because I've noticed a few of those.
Yeah.
People's true colors came out. Yes, Heather. Yeah, absolutely, they did.
I think for people it became an identity because at one point it became so ingrained in the day-to-day lives of people. And I understand completely that out here in the middle of nowhere, it did not affect us until late into the game. And even then, it's pretty debatable on how hard it really affected us in my area. But for some people, yes, absolutely. It became an identity. So when things started lifting up, I can understand to a degree why people lost their mind to an extent. But the other side of that is it was pushed on them. But for some people, it became an identity. It's like watching like a Die Hard. You know, it's like you watch this movie. It's this really, really traumatic
Christmas movie,
greatest Christmas movie ever. It's this big traumatic event. How does John McClane go back to making breakfast in the morning in a couple of days? You can't get past something like that quickly.
Glass in your foot, you gotta make, I mean,
yeah, it's a bad tattoo on a drunken weekend. Like it sticks with you. You can't just rub it off and just go on about your life, because for some people that's what this has been. This is a part of their life now, not because they want it to be, but because that's just how some people are.
Yeah, so Heather says that being in New York, we were convinced it was a death sentence if you got it.
Man, that's awful.
And that's New York's what scared the rest of the country.
Exactly.
We saw the death count coming out.
LA was insane as well. But again, if you looked at the actual numbers, right? Like if you looked at, and then there's no way that you'll convince me ever that the government was reporting the numbers correctly. Ever.
Oh no, Fauci's already come out and admitted.
Or
sorry, what's his name again? Fauci is
Goebbels.
Goebbels already came out and admitted all that. So.
Yeah. So the idea that I mean, even now they're saying that hospitalizations with COVID are okay, but it's not by COVID. It's with COVID, right? The guy broke his arm. He's in there. But he's got COVID, so it's a hospital.
Goebbels is like, that's a COVID hospitalization.
That's ridiculous. That's insane. Like
that's been like that since day one.
Oh, for sure. And then and then we could talk about deaths as well.
Well, and how much money do they get from that? We reported on this early on too.
Yes, especially you put someone on a ventilator, you get like 20-30 grand.
Yeah, so, you get like 3,000 or something. I don't know. I can't remember the numbers, but like
a lot of people by putting them on a ventilator. So
hospitalization. If you say you have a hospitalization with COVID, you get X amount, even if it's only $3,000. But if I get 20 patients with a broken arm, and I get 3,000 a piece, like. Shit, that's a lot of extra money I get from the government for free.
There's a ton of people out there who either don't want to understand or just can't understand how this could be monetarily beneficial to doctors, hospitals, big pharma, because they're like, the vaccination is free to get, so obviously you are wrong about your assumption that they're in this for the money. If that's the only thing you look at, I guess you can spin that in your head to that degree. But no, if you connect the dots, of course, Big Pharma is going to come out of this thing just loaded beyond their wildest dreams.
So Heather said that once I started to do my own research, I was kind of hurt that I was lied to, because I did trust the new, the gov maybe my whole life. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago.
A lot of people aren't, Heather.
It is. So, it's so weird.
A lot of people got what you call it the red pill. You can call it the blinds being opened.
Yep.
A lot of people went, oh, fuck, the world's not what I thought it was.
The news. She trusted the news. Yeah. So but the problem is that people aren't doing what Heather did and actually going out and looking.
Well, no, because you get Ethan Klein that's telling you that Joe Rogan's an unhealthy fat guy, and you shouldn't research things on your own. H3X3 podcast fucking calling people out. Yeah, look at this.
That whole horse dewormer thing was one of the craziest things, and I love Rogan's.
This Streisand effect came out of that. You know what that is, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But I love. Hold on. I just want to say this, and then you can explain that. But I love the fact that he's just like, like I have money, I can afford people medicine. Like that's
It's like fuck you. I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. Yeah.
He's like, like he says that to what is it, Gupta?
Yeah, that's what he said to Sanjay Gupta.
Like, you guys know, because CNN just like plastered it with horse dewormer.
Yeah.
Every person on CNN said that, and he just said, like, you guys know, like I have money, I can afford people medicine, right? Like
he's got so much money. Yeah, he's so much money.
He get like 100 billion from Spotify or something.
Yeah, he's got so much money, and they made people believe he is just doing the most batshit batshit crazy veterinary backdoor bullshit that you can imagine. It's insane.
He talks to some of the most amazing people. Just the smartest people. Like, I have a friend who just like bags on Rogan, and I'm just like, you just don't understand. Then, like, he calls himself a caveman.
Yeah,
and that's why he has smart people on. Like, that's
my favorite thing about Joe Rogan is the fact that you can argue with anybody on social media or a message board, and you're talking to a faceless nobody that you're never gonna meet. Like, they're hiding behind a picture or an avatar, and it's just some random passing by arguing over the internet through text with black and white on a keyboard or a phone screen, right? Meanwhile, how are you supposed to trust that person when they're telling you Joe Rogan's a nobody, knows nothing? Meanwhile, this guy's got more money than God and literally has face-to-face conversations with the smartest and most interesting people in the fucking world. And you're going to sit here and tell me Joe Rogan doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about?
No, that's the point. Joe Rogan doesn't know what he's talking about. That's why he has smart people on.
Right. He surrounds himself with people who know way more than him, and he actually listens to them without just flat out arguing with them, and he learns from them.
Yeah.
Well,
so he's educating himself every time he talks to somebody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the attention span of the people that hate him is usually about 10 minutes of an episode. And so they find like the worst thing they can say about it. And we'll go back to the Streisand effect. Like we're seeing it happening today with the Robert Malone episode, and some of these other vaccine or sorry, horse paste or but like if you don't know what the Streisand effect is, this happened early days of the internet. So Barbara Streisand's house, somebody had like posted it on like
they totally doxed her. yeah.
Well, it was like the first form of doxing. They were just like, "Hey, look, this is Barbara Streisand's house."
Yeah.
Nobody looked. Nobody cared.
No one knew to. Yeah, like no one. Like there was probably
they didn't know what to do with the information.
Yeah, they were probably like 3 people on the forum.
Well, nobody was looking. Nobody was looking at all. Nobody cared where Barbara Streisand lives. Somebody posted it, so she got all mad. Somebody like alerted her that, hey, your house has been posted on the internet. This is early days of the internet. She absolutely had no idea what to do with this information. So she freaked out. She was like, oh my God, people are trying to share my location, which, okay, that's a valid fear as a celebrity.
Yep.
What did she do with that information? She tried to like get rid of the information and made a big deal out of nothing. Like nobody,
the guy, yeah.
And so the more and more people were like, why is Streisand suing this guy? Why is Streisand so upset about this? And then everybody learned the location of her house in the process because she made a big deal. She made a mountain out of a molehill or anthill, molehill.
Yeah, no, you're right. Mountain of a molehill.
Anyway, like that's the when we say Streisand effect, that's what happened. Now today, you're having these same things happen to where, like, okay, Joe Rogan's not a small podcast. It's like 11 million viewer average every episode, which is the biggest show. It beats everything on cable. It beats this is a country of 360 or 320 million people, whatever. But like, so that's a small percentage, really, when you look at it, but it's the biggest show. More people watch Joe Rogan than any other program. However, that's still less than 10% of the people in this country know the Joe Rogan podcast. So when you do this, like block Robert Malone off Twitter, and then defame him on Twitter, and then you start like talking all this trash, and you start writing all these articles. Now all of a sudden, more and more people. Last I looked, Joe Rogan's Dr. Malone one alone, just the Dr. Malone one, was up to like almost 40 million views. Oh. Normally it would have got 11.
Yeah,
but it got the Streisand effect, and now it's up to like 40%.
Nice.
Wow.
Like,
I mean, that's not to say it's not worldwide, right? Like, I mean, like how many people are?
My boss is like 60 years old. He doesn't know shit about what's going on today, and he watched that episode.
Wow.
He goes,
Yeah.
I watched that Joe Rogan episode with Dr. Malone. I was like, oh, bro, let's talk. I was like,
How you doing?
Let me close the door.
Yeah.
well, we did. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
When you messaged it said Dr. Peter McCullough.
That one's huge too. That one I think got 50 or 60 million views because of the Streisand effect.
Again, I've been listening to that guy since the beginning. He amazes me. Like every time I hear him talk, he says something that blows my mind. He's just awesome. So, but yeah, again, even if you don't listen to Rogan, Peter McCullough, Dr. Malone, like you don't listen to those people, right? And actually, Jimmy Dore interviewed Dr. Malone, and that was a really great interview. Actually, I really enjoyed that one.
If I didn't go full on libertarian, I would have ended up more like a Jimmy Dore. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Tony, am I wrong?
But
you're. Yeah,
I feel like he's a hypocrite, but we'll move on to that. Hold on.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
Chicken.
probably. I was too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like even if you don't go all the way to where I'm at, to where you guys are at, like I feel like even if you just looked at the CDC numbers, you'd be like, wait, something's not right here. Like something's not okay. Like even if you just look at the death numbers for age specific people, like you will see that what they're telling you is not necessarily accurate. Right. One of the podcasts that we listened to, Jesse, Part of the Problem, they talked about a LA Times article that it was fear porn straight up. There was almost zero stats in it. It was just basically like kids are filling the hospitals because of Omicron.
And they're not.
An outright lie, which is an outright lie.
Mm-hmm.
So
blatant.
Yeah,
and again with that one, Goebbels has come out and said that's not true.
Yeah, but then that's not all over the news, right? Because he's finally telling the truth, but that doesn't.
It's only on right-wing media.
Yeah, it doesn't
see any of that.
It doesn't sell, right?
And the people that need to see that won't see it because it's not on the shit they want.
And even the people that don't want to see it or can't see it, if they do see it, they're indoctrinated to this point that they're like they can justify the people that want to believe.
Like that's on Fox News. I'm not gonna pay attention to it.
The mental gymnastics that people will go through to convince themselves of something that they want to believe because they've been groomed to believe is astounding. It is so. It's so. If we weren't amid such a global horrible situation, it would be so fascinating to look at people do these mental gymnastics to justify the conclusions that they're making. But it's so widespread and it's so damaging to the entire world that it just sucks for everybody.
It does.
Yeah,
it's damaging.
And the same people that are telling you to take the sheep dewormer are the same people, 3 years ago, 4 years ago that would have told you Big Farm is out to get you.
Yeah,
they're awful people.
Isn't that fascinating?
All they care about is money, and that's it, and now these people,
back when I was a hardcore lefty, that was one of my big things. Like I was big on Occupy Wall Street and fuck Wall Street and fuck Big Pharma and
yeah, they're out to get you, bro. They're out to get you.
I'm like, where's all my Big Pharma haters now?
Yep.
Where'd y'all go?
They're in line. They're in line. Walgreens.
Yeah, in wedding gowns.
They're all on the VAERS reports.
All gowns and stuff to get how creepy was that crap? People are like rushing in there to get it and like dressing up and
so weird.
I saw a weird study. This is
like Comic-Con.
It kind of ties in, but I saw a weird study about people that absolutely have full trust in government versus people who don't. And I was very disappointed. The results were like, I want to say it was like 60-40. 60% thought there is never a reason to have violence against government.
Oof.
Okay, well that's not the same.
It was an online study. It was a small study. It's not a.
Oh, it was online. It was 100%
trusting and
yeah, it was on the internet. So
trusting and wanting violence against someone is two different things.
But no. So like, it was like, when is it? Like the questions were, is it ever justified to have violence against government? And they posed reasons such as like, is things as bad as fascism? And 60% said no, you should just trust your government.
Oh, those people
no.
Holy shit.
Those people are just fucking stupid.
So gross.
I kind of wondered, like, was this like a troll? Like, did people just purposely go in there and give bad answers to make...
I would like to see the demographics on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
50% of them have been deceased for 20 years, but who's counting?
It's hard to find a white pill in this world today, I guess. Is what I wanted to go with, is like, it's hard to find hope that, like, I find
the white mushroom power up in Super Mario 3.
No, I find less and less people that, one, give a shit, two, want to learn, and three, just even want to talk about anything. Like, it's so strange. Like, I get most people are just like in their little bubbles, like doing this libertarian caucus thing. Like, I've been like cold calling voter registries and sending text blasts and shit like that. Like, hey, like, hey, do you want to talk about, liberty in this country and how you can make a difference? Like, I'm trying to word shit different. Most people don't want anything to do with anything anymore. They're just shut down. They're like, 2020 was a fucking train wreck. Fuck all of you. Anybody who's into politics right now can suck a dick.
Like, but they're not wrong.
But
they're not wrong, but you're gonna have to face this in a couple years.
But the problem is they're thinking, again, like most people think on a binary level, right? Like, this is either a Trump supporter or it's a Biden supporter contacting me, and I don't agree with them. I'm kind of middle of the road.
I kind of want to tell them,
like,
Orange Man kind of can be bad, and Biden, or I mean, stroke victim is too old.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing, and I think the person that disgusts me the most about this whole thing is the person that goes, "I don't see what the big deal is. Just take it." Like, I'm like, are you serious? Like, okay, so you've done no reading. Like again, this is
take what the shot,
the sheep dewormer,
the sheep. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Just, if anybody said that, I kind of want to slap him in the face.
Yeah,
I've never had anybody say that to me yet.
I don't see what the big deal is. Just take it. Oh, I don't see what the big deal is. Just put a mask on. I don't see what the big deal is. Just like, okay, just do whatever the government tells you to do. I get it. That's what you want. That's who you want.
The mask thing, I'll give a little leeway to, but less and less as time goes on.
There's
a difference between outside of my body and inside of my body.
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, I would have been a lot nicer about it. 6 months prior to that was a lot nicer than that. Today, I'm like, my job requires it on the work site. That's the only fucking time I'm putting that thing on.
Masking. All I'm going to say about masking is masking healthy people doesn't do anything. So there you go. That's what I'm going to do.
Right.
But
you have symptoms and you
especially
feel
with
a cold right now,
you should stay home.
If you have the
avoid
flu.
people if you can. That's the best thing you can do. Well, I mean, that's the best thing you can do, regardless of the world.
People are still
right
doing
now.
this. You
Just
need to wash hands and wash surfaces. I'm like, no, we've confirmed this isn't a thing anymore. Like
last October, like not this past
somebody
October.
told me today. Oh God, I wish people would just wash their hands more. I'm like, no, this is a fucking airborne.
I wish people would do that regardless.
Oh, this is great.
More people have more jobs
I wish
to
people
wash
would do
a
that
fucking counter.
Yeah.
Keep it sanitized. And now all of a sudden they got shut down. They're like, oh, well, I don't feel like working anymore. Unless you pay me fucking $20 an hour to wipe this counter, I'm not working.
Yeah.
That is another weird, like, lefty ideal that kind of aligns a little bit with libertarian. Like, the workers are kind of in charge right now.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, yeah, there's a labor shortage, so I don't know why.
So weird.
Like I don't know why, because there's unemployment. So if people are unemployed, they could get a job.
I had a small theory that like part of that was because
you're supposed to not pay attention to it, though.
Well, I think part of it was not for everybody. Granted, I don't think this is the glaring reason, but I think a lot of that a little bit at least, was because people were still receiving kickbacks, payments for Corona. They were getting extra money throughout.
Because most jobs, you can just say, I have a fever, and they tell you not to come back to work for 10 days,
there was still
and you get paid the whole time.
Yeah, people were just riding.
That's what's
this
going
out.
on.
People were riding it out, and now it's January of 2022. And if that's going to go away, people are going, well, shit, now I got to start taking those jobs that I didn't want to take, that I said I wasn't getting paid enough to do. So now I got to go back and do it. Like I took my 6-year-old to Spider-Man the other day in the big town of York, which is not that fucking big, but Taco Bell never fucking closed, but they're still short-staffed. We walk in, we stand there for like 3-4 minutes, and I'm like, nobody going to fucking come take our order? Finally, somebody waddles out and goes, oh, our lobby's closed. I'm like, what?
I just opened the door.
The door's not locked.
Lock it.
We're obviously inside. What do you mean your lobby's closed?
I will never understand why people close the lobby early.
It's so stupid.
So I'm sorry, they keep it open during their lunch hour. 2:00, it's closed. Every lobby is closed in the fucking town. So you can't sit down. You can't have it anywhere to eat. It's
2:00. COVID gets really dangerous.
Yeah. Yes. Super dangerous. Unless it's like
9 and 11 and everything else closes.
Yeah, so we had to get back in the car, drive through the drive-through. I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. And then like the TikToks I keep seeing of people who pull up to get the food after they've already paid, and the person handing off the food says, you're not wearing a mask. I can't hand you your food.
Oh, fuck off.
What? Oh yeah, I've seen multiple videos of this.
Watch this. Mask.
No, that's your hand. That's your hand, and you didn't use sanitizer. So no. Through a absolute shit show fit.
Calm down, flannel boy.
And they said, here, look, okay, here, let's compromise. I'm going to hand you one of my masks. You put that on, then I will hand you your food. I'm not kidding you. This happened.
Everything.
This fucking happened. They said, I will physically hand you a mask from the window. You put that on, then I will hand you your food. This is the links of stupidity.
Yeah, this is like people not critically thinking about things. Like they just
want
to. Well, no, it's the point where I said, like, people like, I don't see what the big deal is, just do it, right? Because they refuse to critically think about things. They refuse to like investigate.
Tony, don't fill up that glass. I want you to get drunk without drinking.
He's drunk on fear porn right now.
Yes, I am.
Exactly.
So, like, the idea is that it's just easier to go along than get along, and this is what blows my mind is like the government is telling you something, and then people just like suck it in and just like are like, yeah, that's it.
They're sheep. Yeah.
We're doing it. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, it's the desire for people to think. It's still that same desire for wanting other people to think the way that you want to think. And if you don't think the way that I want you to think, when other people are telling me how to think, then, oh gosh, I'm going to do everything in my power to make you think the way it's still gross. And you're right. It's common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense goes out the window.
A labor shortage because people are being paid to stay home. But I mean, like, are they getting paid? Like, they're not getting the extra money, right? That they were getting.
So some states still have it rolling. Most states killed it. So like, but here's the problem. Like here in Iowa, they killed it a year ago. They killed the extra like unemployment, and we thought we would get a boost in and like we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the entire country.
Yeah, so do we.
And we can't find people to work.
Yeah.
Because most people, they're employed, but they're working like part-time. A lot of people, here's what happened. A lot of people went, oh shit, do I really need this job? I've been paying on my house for 10 years and I've been slaving away at this job. And then I went through COVID and I spent 6 months at home with my kids. And I went, fuck, I kind of liked being home with my kids. And so what they do, they refinance their house. They took a part-time job so they could spend more time at home, and they downsized. And they went, well, I don't need to have this much of an income. We can actually survive on this much of an income. And people realize the benefit and the quality of life at home with a lesser job and lesser income can be better And that's what they took. A lot of them took that. That's a shit ton of people that I know personally that have like walked away from the workforce. That's what they've done. They just refinanced their house. They walked away from their big, huge paying job, and they're like, well, I could go work at some shitty fucking job, just working weekends and a couple days a week, and I make good enough money because nobody wants to do weekends and nights, and they're paying fucking crazy. Like, there's a pizza joint here that wants you to deliver for $30 an hour in Iowa.
So you're
like,
what you're telling me is we eliminated some jobs that maybe weren't exactly necessary.
Didn't need to happen.
We eliminated some more jobs that were kind of needed, but not in a time of crisis, quote unquote. And then when a new administration came in, they're like, well, here's how we're going to fix this. We're going to double the price on everything. And then when people are forced to take those jobs back, now we're going to say that we fixed unemployment. Bravo. Bravo. That's how you fudge the numbers,
basically.
Tomfoolery.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. You only measure inflation by inflation.
He wasn't in the keywords. He wasn't in the keywords.
Sorry, I had to say.
Yeah,
just look at that.
You'll get banned on Twitch.
We eliminated a bunch of jobs throughout this thing, and then we inflated the price. And now that people are going to have to go back to work, the ones that actually have to go back to work to afford the inflated prices,
most companies have restructured their workforce.
But now that those jobs are gone, the jobs that are still open will fill up, and it's going to look amazing on paper.
Yep.
Look who decided to show up.
What's up, Lynn?
Did you just get back from work, bro? Jeez.
It's Colorado, so it's
I know,
It's
mountain.
an hour behind me.
All right, bro.
Behind us, sorry. 2
Yeah,
hours
but
behind
still,
you,
it's like
Brandon.
almost 9 o'clock. Yeah, I don't. The labor shortage, I do not understand. I mean, everywhere I go, I travel.
Dude, nobody wants to work for anything less than $20 an hour right now.
I travel 4 or 5 different states, and it just blows my mind. Everyone I talk to, like, hey, you guys looking for people? Oh yeah, we're looking for people. And I was talking to the local electric company. Well, they're not. I mean, they're a union shop, as most are, right? They're paying apprentices $40 an hour.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Well,
Yeah, $40 an hour.
Not only that, apprentices making shit tons of money, but you also have like this weird thing to where like people are like, they like took their money and like bought weird shit, and people are doing online selling now and shipping out of their home, and they're taking unemployment, so they refinance their house when they still had a job, and then they quit their job and started just taking the checks they're getting from unemployment, buying weird shit online and resell. Like the fucking market has just completely changed, and I don't think anybody understands what we're dealing with right now. It's insane. Like, I have so many local vendors right now of weird shit I could buy. Like, if I want a sex toy, I could have it delivered to my Tony perked up. Dude, I have a whiskey vendor. I have an online whiskey vendor that I can purchase online. He'll deliver it to my front door in a day, and he gets rare shit on the regular. Like, this is a market now. It never used to be.
No.
Like, it's crazy. This is the world we live in now.
In the state of Nebraska, you could not walk around with an alcohol container past a certain point in a bar. Like, so if you're outside, it had a 6-foot high fence, this and that. Now you walk in, I want it to go fucking margarita. Here you go. Have a nice fucking day. Enjoy your drive.
Road soda.
Yep.
Open container's still a law, but
no, it's true. Oh no, you get around with that by, if you want a shot to go, they just use the old Jello shooter or the Jello shot cups with the lid. Oh, you want a shot of Jameson to go? Here you go.
Oh, it's closed.
Lid.
I think Google's listening to me. It just went off.
It's great. Well, another reason we've got low employment is because like, so many people.
But you still can't smoke any pot in Nebraska.
So many people died from things.
You can drink and drive in Nebraska, but you can't smoke pot.
That's true. That
makes a lot of fucking sense.
So true. So true.
See, now, you say like we have unemployment, people don't want to work. A lot of them are working just part-time because they're still getting the benefits from welfare. They're still getting the high Medicaid. They're still getting the high SNAP food.
Yep.
Food benefits, everything. Energy assistance, housing assistance, everything.
They're going to crack down on that.
I was not getting. I'm like, I don't understand why people aren't working because I know
they are working.
In New Hampshire, they completely got rid of that boost, that $600 boost or whatever. Yeah. Like they got rid of that. Like as soon as like I think it was like 2 or 3 months, and they were like done.
Like I said, people refinanced. They paid off their credit cards with those fucking Biden bucks, and they went minimalist and backed off on everything, and they figured out what they can survive on. I think
some people took advantage of the situation.
A lot of people use that money wisely. I really do believe that.
It does surprise me. I really thought it was going to be the Bush bucks back in the day, where we're just trying to stimulate the economy. Here's $600. Go buy a fucking plasma TV just because. Some people didn't do that. Some people stowed the money away. Some people paid off stuff. Some people blew through it. And
I put a down payment on an Amish Alex Jones sex robot.
Oh my god! So
okay,
hot.
Let's move on Let's move on to. I feel gross just saying that.
I feel sexy.
The words that just came out of your mouth. You just had to go. Did I really just say
Jones,
that?
I was like, this is gonna be really funny. But
flannel, which was chicken, and then I heard sex doll, which was
yeah.
Oh,
I got my kids out here going, "What'd you just say?
What did you just say?"
I'm a little excited over here.
Yes.
I would like to tell you I spent my money wisely.
I bought guns, so I spent mine very wisely.
I didn't do great.
Kids to call my buddy.
Worthy cause.
All right, so last news subject, the stroke victims' god awful approval numbers. I tried to look up a comparison real quick between Orange Man and Biden. And they're pretty close.
Really?
They said that Trump's was lower, but I don't believe them. So I was trying to look for another source, and I couldn't find
in the first year.
Yeah,
stroke victims' approval numbers drop under the VPs.
Oh, in the December, they are the lowest in history. In December,
that can't be. He's the most popular president in history. 80 million strong. We're not wrong.
Okay, so
most secure election ever.
Decisive.
Yeah, I was talking with a gentleman. Geez, when was this? This was
never seen so much buyer's regret ever.
Yeah, seriously. I was talking with an older gentleman in May or June, and he said to me that he thought that the stroke victim was a nice man, and he thought that he was very truthful. And I turned around and looked at him like, is this a joke?
It's been around since the 80s.
I was like, are you joking with me right now? And he's like, no, I think he really means well. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine, except he is half the time he doesn't know where he's at.
So what crack you smoking?
He's been working this angle for 40 years.
He said, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Did you not watch all the press conferences that he had where he didn't know what city he was in? He goes, oh, that didn't happen. I'm like, I was blown away. Now this guy,
come on, man.
That was awesome.
Where is Joe?
That was great. But I said to him, I'm like, we had a great conversation. He was very nice. I was polite to him. He was polite to me. It was great. We definitely did not agree, obviously, right? But
don't have to.
He was really convinced that he had all his wits. The stroke victim had all its wits, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know what press conferences you saw, and I don't know how you saw them. Maybe he was watching MSNBC. I don't know, but it was just it was blatantly clear, he saw one side and one side only and was not paying attention. So the approval ratings it just blows me away that both the president and vice president are awful, horrifically awful. But
I wish I could say I'm shocked.
There's still people that it doesn't matter because Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. So
I'm not shocked that they're as low as they are. It's just, I thought for sure that they would do a better job protecting his approval numbers throughout the first year. Like we talked about earlier with the withdrawal from Afghanistan, with his even he through his lips and his words promised a plan on coronavirus and literally did not follow through. More people perished under his rule than the orange bad man. I believe allegedly, fact check me if you must, but the plan wasn't there, and I get it, but I knew he wouldn't be able to follow through on most of the stuff he said. But I thought they would at least throughout the first year try to protect his approval rating just a little bit. And I'm like, man, they are literally streamlining what I've been saying, what we've all kind of been saying throughout the get-go from the election and previous, throughout the Democratic caucuses of if he somehow manages to win, he's going to end up stepping down or handing the reins off in some form or fashion to Kamala Harris. And that is what we are being groomed for. And I think even the media at one point in 2021 was informed or decided on, I'm sure on their own free will, to turn on him a bit and start planting the seeds that maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if our first-term president stepped down and handed the reins off to Kamala Harris. My golly, wouldn't this just be fantastic? And can't you imagine how amazing this would be? I gave it 2.5 years because that wouldn't give her a full 2 years. I think they streamlined it, and I don't like. I say this about college football coaching jobs. I don't want my team to be a revolving door job. I don't want the presidency to be a revolving door job either, because frankly, that is more important. Even though my loyalties are more important to football anymore, and even though those are pretty shitty too. So hey, I would like to see some consistency. I'd like to see some actual approval ratings because of actual work being done and actual things being accomplished, not just propaganda, not just grooming.
If you want to look at it from the perspective, like I try to like hold these arguments of like, what do they think? I want to know what they think first before I come at it from the outside. Hillary Clinton,
who's that?
The Democrat, leftists, or just anybody who's against
the other.
The other.
The Phil King.
Yeah, I'm othering everybody. But no,
I don't want to assume some gingers or whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm not going against races or anything like that.
Allegedly.
Hillary Clinton actually came out last week, and said the Progressive Party is actually damaging the Democratic Party because nobody has faith in the Democratic Party anymore because of progressives. And I was like, wow, how fucking sound and out of touch at the same time.
Yeah, no shit.
Like the woman that most of the country hated and ran the worst Democratic campaign that she was a shoo-in, and she was so unrelatable to the American people.
Unrelatable, unlikable.
Yeah.
And then lost to Donald Trump, who nobody thought was possible, including myself. I was like, This is a joke. This ain't going to happen.
Agreed.
And then, so she loses, which actually restores my faith in American electoral voting. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not all rigged, because why the fuck would that happen?
Yeah, I agree. I understand.
So now Hillary Clinton saying AOC, the progressives, Rashida Tlaib, all these other, the squad and all these people are actually ruining the Democratic Party. And I was like, what was left to ruin? I'm like, it was in ruins, and they've made it worse. I'm like, that's a white pill. That's like, you should celebrate this point of view from Hillary Clinton. She is absolutely right. They have taken a pile of rubble. What does Phil always say? You took a
piles of rubble
and you
slightly
smashed it into a slightly smaller pile of rubble.
Yeah.
But then, like, what's to come of anything else? So it's just, I don't know. I think this is a good time to like. Everybody's a little politically active right now, whether they want to be or not. I think this is a good time to like pull them aside and be like, hey, like, If you actually are passionate about something, that's the only reason I joined the Mises Caucus, Libertarian Mises Caucus. Look them up.
They're pretty awesome.
Libertarian Party. Look it up in your state. Most of them are quietly overtaking the entire party.
Yep. So I think on the Hillary thing, I think not just Hillary, anyone that's willing to blame someone else for their loss or their inconsistency,
it's hilarious.
You have to be wary of that person. They obviously are not willing to take responsibility for their shittiness, especially her. She's awful and unlikable, and I mean, really surprised that she lost. I'm not. She's I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that Trump won, but
do you think she'll run again 2024?
I hope Orange Man and her don't ever run again. Like, I despise them both.
I think you'll get half your wish true.
Yeah, I agree. But
there's rumors she might try again.
I hope she does.
Because Kamala's such a bad candidate. Even progressives don't like her.
She is awful, and that's why they had to use an avatar to get her into the White House.
Why,
so that way they can hand the reins off to her.
That's why I think Tony's prediction of like Biden like only doing the 2.5 years. I think they're pumping that dude full of every experimental medication possible. All the horse dewormers, the sheep dewormers, every monkey dewormers, fucking any dewormers that they've been playing with to keep this motherfucker alive, because they don't want her to take over. I really think that's what's going on right now, because she's been so awful.
It's so
awful.
No, it's not.
She has been more awful than the stroke victim.
That is true, but it's still not working because he is just like,
yeah, he's still awful.
Oh my god.
Nothing against stroke victims, but
I never will cheer for a president to fail, and you can't cheer for them to fail, even if you didn't vote for them, even if you were vehemently against them winning. It's still the leader of the country, and you want them to even stumble into a victory.
He still knows where to sign his name on papers. Like,
sure he
does.
Him. Sure he does. But and again, and even if you have to take this route to get to this conclusion, because the person behind him that's next in line is probably going to be worse. So I want him to succeed for our sake. I do. I want him to finish his term.
But then what's your definition of success? You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
not make things
taking every dewormer that keeps you alive at this point.
No, Jesus, no, don't. Dad's Worldwide does not condone the actions by the man above me that just said no.
I'm saying I want the stroke victim to take every dewormer medication that will keep him alive at least for 2.5 more years.
That's success.
Experimental drugs.
That's success. Yeah.
Experimental drugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one way to go.
2 movies that could pretty much predict the last year: The Campaign.
Yep.
And Idiocracy.
100%.
Idiocracy was 2016.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was.
What about 12 Monkeys?
Oh shit! I forgot about that one.
That's a great movie.
Wow. I gotta watch that. I haven't seen that in years.
Yep. I mean, other than the time travel portion of it, but
well,
I mean, if you
that kind of throws things.
Oh, it's fair.
If you forget about that part of it,
oh my god, we need to do a movie review now.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. It's been 2 hours.
I got 4 episodes out of this.
Yeah, right.
I
would say, trying to cut that up. I would say let's end on a good note, and the best thing to happen this year, someone had a baby.
Meghan Markle? Did she have a baby?
Did she have a baby?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm taking guesses.
But someone on the show had a baby. Well, I mean, they didn't physically have the baby, but Tony.
Well, my daughter turned 1.
Did you just pour whiskey out of that turkey's ass?
Oh my god! Pull him up! Look at this thing! Isn't that beautiful?
It's literally coming out of the turkey's ass.
Yes.
Be thankful.
Oh my God, that's
I married Justin off here not long ago. Not to me, but I married him.
I did tell him I loved him.
There was a little jealousy.
Yeah,
there.
he did. He did. Mid ceremony, when I said it was like time to say I love you to his fiance at the time, it was say I love you. And he looked at me dead ass in the eye and said,
because you looked at me first.
To her. You say that to her, Justin.
Yeah. Well, don't love eyes on me. I'm going to say I love you.
Put your finger on his lip.
It was cute.
And you said no.
You all three were in love at the same time. It was fantastic.
And you turned his face like this. Shh.
But then, yes, afterwards we drank whiskey out of his turkey's butthole. But
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Tony had a baby. His wife had a baby.
We had a baby. It's been over a year now. Jesus Christ.
No, it's not. It hasn't been over a year, has it?
It has just barely, because we had our baby on the day right before the election. No, the day before voting. The day before vote, November 2nd, right? November 3rd was vote day. And I had to drive 45 minutes to go vote.
Yeah,
I was a little off. I swear to God,
I know, but that's what I mean. Like 2021 melted into 2020,
and
it all feels like the same year. It's so weird.
That was about the
Justin
time I
had like 4 kids this year. So
at least I think he's still having them right now.
Yeah.
That's why he dimmed the lights behind him.
I've buried 3.
What?
I mean, no.
We were supposed to end on a good note. What the fuck was that? Jesus.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, man. It was terrible. I'm super proud of you. That was a great joke. So that was something
that said to be awkward. Sorry.
That was something I would have said.
Fuck's sake.
I'm such a good influence.
We're so happy. I buried 3.
Damn sheep dewormer.
I know, right?
That's okay.
That is how he became the ball.
What the hell?
I love you, Gerbils.
Oh my God.
We didn't even talk about that cocksucker. All right, listen, Justin, where can people get a hold of you? Jesus.
Facebook, Yanked Up Studios or Yanked Up Podcast, YouTube, same way. And that's pretty much all we have. That's all.
All right. That's all you need. Tony.
Yes.
You can find me on good Lord, many, many, many things. There's a Linktree link that sums it up very nicely. Linktree/Big Buckin, and you can find me on the Wrestling Podcast, the Dog and Chicken Show, Big Buckin Entertainment, and everything in between that I randomly. And of course, thank you for having me tonight on Dad's Worldwide. And on TikTok at Tony the Rod 2.0. I am closing in on 1 million views on one stupid video.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous.
And sometimes on the corner of Milford and Elm. But, we'll just move
that
along.
one got dangerous, especially now that it's cold out. I went under the viaduct now.
Yeah. Fair enough.
With your buddy heater.
All right, the Amish Alex Jones. Where can people find you, sir?
Follow the Linktree, Big Buckin, that Tony.
East side of the
mentioned.
barn at 3:00.
Yeah.
Bring all the.
I'll be out milking cows. Outside of the Linktree that Tony had mentioned, you can find me on Twitter at Bark and Cluck, like a dog barks and a chicken clucks for the Dog and Chicken Show. Or I've just joined Getter because that's like the new right wing thing that'll get shut down here in a couple months when somebody tries to blow up a building or something.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
probably tomorrow it'll get shut down
at the most mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah, so at JR West on Getter, I'm gonna work on rebranding on future things as I get kicked off of Twitter and other things.
Nice.
Alyssa Milano, damn you!
It's always great.
Damn you, Alyssa Milano, you C word.
Oh, well,
just they can take away our fun stuff.
Love you. Hey, Brendan, thanks for having us on, man.
Thank you guys for coming on. I love talking. I love talking news and politics. And man, this year, I got to say, there's parts of it that sucked, but there's parts of it that were really great. So I like to focus on those things. And you guys have been a great part of my year, being able to be on the Dog and Chicken Show, and just the friendship that we've. Oh, God, I hate you guys. I mean, I love you. Love you.
I appreciate you
Cheers.
coming on our show all the time.
Absolutely,
So.
man.
Cheers. Cheers. Make each other better. And no, I in a video game.
In a video.
Yeah, I love you in a video game.
Yeah. No, I seriously, there's, like I said, there's portions that were awful. There's portions that were great. So, yeah, let's focus on the positive and move on. Move on, folks. All right,
2022 is going to be awesome.
It's going to be the best. It's going to be the best ever.
Tremendous.
Ever. Tremendous. Huge, humongous.
Tremendous year. 2022 is going to be fantastic.
Huge.
It's going to be tremendous. Huge year for podcasting.
You know how to get a hold of Dads Worldwide. You're looking at the channel. Brendan at dadsww.com or Jim at dadsww.com. And then, hit us up on social media. We're all over the place. Facebook, Twitter. Although, probably not YouTube after this episode. Probably not Twitch either. And then, come find us on Instagram and chat with us there. So, as always, I appreciate you listening. Later. Oh God, where is it?
Dads Worldwide. The first word in family management, family budgeting, insurance, bills, food, vacations, research and development, homework, emails, phone calls. Last week we tried to do an oil change and ended up with a new car. Security. Doors are locked, windows shut, house alarm is set. Fingerless gloves. Dads Worldwide.